Hi guys, my name is Pavan and welcome to my YouTube channel buildingyourdreams.com. So today we'll be discussing about our first chapter in microeconomics. It's basically an introduction to the microeconomics. So before understanding about micro and macroeconomics, it's very important for you to understand that even though after your second PUC you have your degree syllabus on micro and macroeconomics, your base should be very proper. As a result, what you're studying now, make sure that you study in a very proper manner, which will help you very much in your competitive exam as well as for your various other exams too. So now let's get started with the first chapter of microeconomics. What is production possibility frontier? See, now this production possibility frontier, it is also called as transformation curve or production possibility curve. It is also called as transformation curve or production possibility curve. So now what? It is also a graphical representation of two commodities. So now what? We are comparing it with it is as a graphical representation. We are giving it as a graphical representation of two commodities, cotton and wheat, that can be produced when resources of economy are fully utilized. They are saying that you can produce cotton and wheat, two commodities, when the resources of economy are when it is completely fully utilized. So now I've just repeated the same para once again, why was it was quite important. And now let's look at the diagram. Graphical representation as follows. This is the diagram. So after drawing the diagram, it's very important that you write YOX, cotton, wheat, A B C D E, possibility is A B C D E. Cotton, I'm giving you order as 1 0 1 2 3 4, and wheat is 10 9 8 7 6. So now based on this you're going to give an explanation. So as per the above graph, the points lying strictly below the production possibility curve represents the combination of cotton and wheat that can be produced when resource of an economy are either underemployed or used in a wasteful fashion. That means that as per the above graph, based on this graph, the points lying strictly below the production PPC, that is production possibility curve, represents, it is basically a representation of what? It is a representation of cotton and wheat that can be produced when, it can be produced when only when some of the resources are either underemployed, when they are either underemployed or used in a wasteful fashion. So they can be produced effectively only in two cases, that is when they are underemployed or used in a wasteful fashion. So normally from this chapter you can expect a 4 marks question. This is the first 4 mark question which we had discussed now. Now let's look at the second type of question which you can expect from this chapter. What are the central problems of an economy? See, central problems of an economy, there are three problems: what to produce, how to produce, whom to produce. Before that, let's give a small introduction. See guys, for your 4 markers, 1 page answer, that's more than enough. If possible, try to extend it for 1.5 page if you would like, but one page answer is more than enough. Let's look at the introduction. See, it's basically they're saying over here, human wants are unlimited, but the resources are very limited. See, human wants are unlimited. See, our wants are very unlimited, but the resources what we have is very limited. If we had a perfect match between our wants as well as our wants together as well as the resources, then there would be no scarcity. Then yes, right, if our wants would be equal to the resources which we have, then there would be no problem of scarcity, no problem of choice, and no economic problems would arise. So one has to select most essential wants to be satisfied with the limited resource. So one individual, what he has to do, he have to select the resources with the limited income what he has. That's what they're trying to emphasize over here. In economy, this is known as the problem of choice. So one has to select most essential wants to be satisfied with a limited resource. So one has to satisfy the essential wants with this limited income. That is known as the problem of choice. Okay, the problem of choice rising with the limited resources and unlimited wants is called as economic problem. What is economic problem? Very important. You can expect a 2 marks question. The problem of choice rising with the limited resources and unlimited wants. When there is a limited resources and there is an unlimited wants, then it is called as economic problems. So now, as I said you, there are three central problems of an economy, that is what to produce, how to produce, and whom to produce. See, I'll just give an introduction. What to produce is basically about what goods are to be produced and what quantity of goods are to be produced depends upon the economic system of a country. Okay, so now depending on the country's situation, economic system, it's basically what goods are to be produced, what quantity of the goods are to be produced depends upon it. So in socialistic economy, the government decides. In capitalistic economy, the market forces or private forces decide, private enterprises decides. And in mixed economy, the government and market forces decide. So now mixed economy, as you all know, there's an intervention of both government as well as private sector. So now what goods are to be produced, what quantity of goods are to be produced depends on what are the things? Only economic system of the country. Depends on the economy of that country, we are going to produce the goods. That is basically what to produce. In socialistic economy, who decides? Government decides. In capitalistic economy, market force decide. In mixed economy, both the government and market forces decide. Next, how to produce. So there are various techniques of producing goods. One is labor intensive technique, and next one is capital intensive technique. So how many techniques are there? It is one is labor intensive technique and capital intensive technique. I've just written the short form LIT and CIT. Guys, if you want, just pause the video and just take down the notes if you want. As well as I have just made a little more easier brief definition for you, such a reason that you will understand it little more easier. So now the society has to decide whether the production of the goods, how to produce, should it be labor intensive technique or capital intensive technique. So the society has to decide whether it should be labor intensive technique or capital intensive technique. Now the society has to decide. Next one, therefore the choice of the technology would depend upon the availability of different factors of production. See, the choice of technology would depend. See, the choice of technology which you adopt, it's basically dependent upon different factors such as labor, land, capital, and the relative prices, rate, wages, and interest. So the choice of technology which you're going to depend basically focus on the labor. You want labor, right? Labor, land, and capital for your functioning of a business. Similar way, and it also requires related prices such as rate, wages, and interest. Even your price modeling was also very important in a firm. That's basically they're trying to introduce over here. So next problem is, first one is what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. For whom are we trying to produce? Another important decision an economy has to decide is for whom to produce. Very simple concept. The society has to decide about middle class and rich in the society. See, when you're producing the goods, they're trying to do the central problems of an economy. For example, in a country, when you're producing the goods, the government should make sure that it reaches to all the sections of the society, right? It should reach to the society has to decide about different groups of poor people, middle class, and the rich. So these three sections should be considered when we produce the goods. These are the central problems of an economy: what to produce, how to produce, and whom to produce. Now, looking at the central planned economy, this is the third type of question. So first we discussed what is production possibility curve, then we discuss what are the central problems of an economy, then we discuss, now we are going to discuss centrally planned economy. Do not confuse with central problems of an economy with central planned economy. Centrally planned economy. Central problems of an economy are what to produce, how to produce, whom to produce. What is centrally planned economy? Centrally planned economy, it's basically about a planned economy is also called a socialistic economy. So now what is this? This planned economy is also called as what? This planned economy is also called as a socialistic economy. Okay. It is an economy where economy are controlled by the central government. See, remember always, central planned economy is also called as what? Socialistic economy. Socialistic economy, very simple concept, as you all know. Socialistic economy, it is controlled by whom? It is controlled by the central government. So make sure that you write by point, okay? So invigilator will easily give you marks. This entire chapter is for 4 markers. Basically, I'm excluding the 2 markers and 1 markers, but I'm just saying, make sure that you study very properly for 4 marks, one of the easiest chapter. The government takes decision about the allocation of resources. So what will the government takes? The government takes decision about the allocation of resources to attain both economic and social welfare. So the government will take decision for attaining both economic as well as social welfare. It try to focus on overall development of that country. So now the example of the countries of central planned economy are Russia, China, North Korea, etc. In central planned economy, the government takes decision with the allocation of resources in accordance to attain both economic and social welfare. See, in central planned economy, the government's main focus is for economic as well as for the social overall welfare as well as development. That they are trying to focus in central planned economy. It focuses on rapid economic development and it gives quality of life rather than quantity of production. It gives emphasis for the quality of life rather than quantity of production. Okay, now refer what to produce, how to produce, whom to produce. Very important, guys. After you write central planned economy, you can also write the same concept of what to produce, how to produce, and whom to produce. Write the same thing, copy and paste after your central planned economy explanation. Make sure that you copy and write this, copy and paste the same thing. Why? Because in central planned economy is the same concept on how to function of what to produce, whom to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. The same functioning is in central planned economy. So what I said you now, you're going to write an explanation. After writing explanation, it is by the socialistic economy. It is controlled by the central government. Their main focus is on for economic and social welfare. You give an examples of the countries, and then what are you going to do? You're going to refer what to produce, how to produce, whom to produce. Why are you referring? Why? Because it's the same concept which is supposed to apply for the central planned economy. So guys, that's all for today's class, because we have discussed most of the important concept. This is the part 1 video of our first chapter for microeconomics. Our second part video will be discussing further about market economy as well as difference between micro and macroeconomics in detail. That is going to be the part 2. Thank you. Love you all so much. Wishing you the most in your day. And hope to see you in my next video with further interesting topics. Thank you. Love you all so much. Goodbye. And if you do like this video, please do like it and subscribe.